Good morning, assalamu alaikum everyone. Sorry about the early disturbance. We're back live again on today's live YouTube on what is homeopathy and treating the root cause. My name is Mina Azam and welcome in joining me wherever you are in the world today. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Let us go straight into it. Who am I? And what are we doing? So like I said, today is homeopathy and treating root causes. The root cause, I brought this in today. Those of you who know me, I talk a lot about different things. But whether we use homeopathy or whichever, we have to understand where we're going from and how we treat things. And understand how your body works. I'm known as a human analyst because before I became a healer, I was a system analyst. And I was trying to understand, when you have a computer breakdown, you're understanding, okay, there's a problem, let us find a solution. You're analyzing what the problem is first. As a human analyst, we're analyzing what is the problem within your system and then finding the solution using numerous tools to understand about it. Now, I'm London. For those who are not in London, I'm a London-based consultant. I'm dedicated, committed, and enthusiastic and passionate about helping people maintain better health with positive energy always. Because as today, with many demands in today's society, we are stressed, we're focusing, we've got kids, we've got work, there's all different environmental stress, there's so much. So we need to be focused and understanding who are we, how do we get sick, and how we can deal with this. Now, I focus on analyzing your health from the root cause, as I said, and it's because we're finding different powerful tools, transformational, natural solutions to longevity and helping you get back into alignment with your mind, body, and soul. Because if this isn't calm, your body isn't calm. I use different tools from homeopathy, nutrition, acupressure, breath work, hands-on healing, and many more, EFT, emotion freedom technique. But the key thing is, one size doesn't fit all, so we need to understand what to do. Today's session is all about homeopathy, so we're going to talk about homeopathy and root causes. So what is homeopathy? Now, all of those of you new here understand homeopathy is not just like going to the pharmacy or to doctors. Here's a paracetamol, here's a painkiller. It's treating a pain. It treats the whole homeopathy treats the whole person, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Here's my pain, but how am I feeling here need to be matched up. As we all know, when children are in pain, one child could be clingy and crying, "Mommy, I'm in pain." The other one can be, "I'm in pain, I need to get this done." So two different emotions, same sort of pain, two different children. And with homeopathy, it most likely be two different remedies. And this is what we need to understand. Now, there's increasing evidence to support the idea of how you feel psychologically can have a direct impact on your physical health. Like we said, emotional stress caused by grief, shock, abandonment, mental exhaustion, or even major life changes can leave us drained and prone to illness. For example, stress has been linked to decreased function of the immune system and an increased risk of developing obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. These are just some of the most common ailments. But especially lately, we all know when we're stressed, our immune system goes down. That is common knowledge because we're not functioning properly. We're on autopilot. So the body needs to concentrate on your autopilot, thinking, "Oh, I need to get this done," and it doesn't concentrate on things that you need actually, which is always ongoing with your digestion, with your immunity, whichever, your hormones. So, yep, we can all get exhausted. We all know what it feels like, whether you're a woman, a man, an adult, a child, a teenager. All the stresses in our bodies can make us imbalance. Now, over time, people doing shift work, you can't sleep. A lot of people talk to me about, "I can't sleep, I've insomnia. Do you have anything for sleep?" Yeah, that's fine. We can do passiflora remedies, chamomile, all sleep relaxing remedies. But the key thing is, why is your body in that state? Why you cannot sleep? And we need to go to way before you had the ailment. That's an example. Sanitary decongestion, what we're looking at in the environment. Sometimes the food that we eat, if it's got too many additives to it, too many chemicals to it, it's not natural, it's not organic, it's not how it's intended to be. You know, there's so chemicals, a lot, especially when you have a lot of additives and chemicals involved in food, especially with our kids. You know, when they're going for junk foods, they're going for fast foods. You know, these can also be stressors on the body. Somebody could say, "Oh, do you know what? I'm calm. I've got a good job. I've got a good family. I'm not stressed. I don't know why my body's doing that." Then you're looking at, well, what's in your environment? Are you in a stressed environment situation? You know, is it stress at work in the sense you might not be stressed, but you're in a stress, everybody's shouting, people going da 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 da. like the stock exchange, everybody's like da, 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 shouting, and you're thinking, you're in that environment, you're absorbing that stress. You've got a teenager, the teenager is rebelling, the teenager, him or herself, could be in a stressed environment because of what they're going through, peer pressure, what's happening, that person's, Instagrams or social media put a lot of peer pressure on our teenagers these days. I want to look like that, I want to be like that, I want to be successful like that, and then they're putting this whole thing on themselves. Now when the teenager is putting pressure and stress within him or herself, the parents are also getting stressed because they are watching this. They feel stuck what to do, or they're rebelling with each other. They're like hitting each other in the sense where da 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 is going on, and a lot of parents say, I just don't get it. Why doesn't he or she listen to what I'm saying? The he or she is saying, I just don't get it. Mum just doesn't get it. She's always going on about me. She doesn't trust me. So yeah, I hear this a lot, and I'm thinking, whoa, you know what? Take a deep breath. Let's move back. He or she is now getting sick with illnesses. Mum's getting worried. I don't know what is happening. She's having her own stress and starting getting hormonal problems, headaches and migraines. And so is the child. So really we need to step back and think, okay, why is there imbalance there? How we can get it together. Same if you're very busy, you have a sick child at home. Sometimes we have to understand, why is that child getting sick all the time? Does he really want some of your attention? When he's sick, he gets a lot of your attention. When he's sick, he does hardly see you. That's one element, one area that we also need to look into, and not just, okay, fine, right, he's sick, he's got a cold, let's give the antibiotics, let's give this, right, take that, deal with it, and I've got to do this, I've got so much things, I've got a to-do list to do. So sometimes it is important for us to step back and have a look at life, what is happening. Where does homeopathy do? What does homeopathy do? So I always say to people, I don't have a magic pill, but what I do is stimulate your body's own natural healing mechanism. All of us, no matter where you are in the world, have a natural healing mechanism which is there since the day you were born. And all we have to do is stimulate it. The body can heal itself. A perfect example is when you have a cut on your finger and you watch that, you've got a cut and it's bleeding, you wash it. Before you put that plaster in, if you had, within a few hours, within a few seconds, a few minutes, that cut starts to heal. The blood starts to clot. Within a few days, even if you did nothing to it, the skin starts rejuvenating, the cut is starting to heal, and then it's healed. Yeah, that's your body's own. That's an example, a common example of body's own healing mechanism. Now we have the same healing mechanism within us, whether it's a physical problem, whether it's an emotional problem or mental problem. It doesn't matter. We have the ability to heal within ourselves. How do we do that? It's going back up here. What does homeopathy do? Again, it stimulates your body's healing process to wake it up and get yourself back on track. And saying that, as I've always said, the root cause. Now, you could have a problem. People say, I've got migraines, I've got headaches, period problems, recurrent tonsillitis, you name it. Name any symptoms that is recurrent especially. That's your problem. But why? You can do an acute remedy. For example, something for the fever, take this for this, and take a remedy or paracetamol for a headache. But if it keeps coming back, there's a root there. And the way I really explain it to you, it's like going to a garden of weeds. You can cut the weeds out, they look nice and clean. But until you pull them out from the roots, they're just going to keep on growing. Our bodies does the same thing. Until we treat it from those roots, we pluck those roots, those symptoms are going to be reoccurring and coming back. So we need to understand, okay, here's my symptom. When did it start and why? Now, if it's something acute, you've got a common cold. Okay, that's fine. You've got a common cold, you treat it and it's done. But then if it's coming back every 2 weeks, why? Is the immune system down? Is there something going on? Something not right? This is where you start to think outside the box. Now, a lot of us just go with the crowd. We're just working in that mode. Okay, a quick fix, quick fix, done. And I move on, And then what happens? Your body makes you stop. Your body say, hey, stop putting a blanket. I'm trying to tell you something. I'm trying to tell you that I have a problem, and I'm creating these symptoms for you to understand and listen to what I am saying. Listen to the body is trying to tell you. I need help deep down. I need help within the never been well since. So always remember, the root cause is number one. Now, I always say this to my clients. When they say, oh, I've got this problem, I say, you've had it, how long you've had it? If it's more than 2 days and it's been going on for 2 months, 2 years, 20 years, let's deal with roots. You come to me with a problem and you said, okay, It doesn't matter if you got it 2 days ago, 2 months ago, or 20 years ago. It can still be helped because the switch has come on since you've been in that state. We need to go back and rewind and bring you back into normality, bring you back into the state of today, and bring you back in balance. Now, example of root causes, a very good one that we use in homeopathy is called never been well since. A lot of you can relate to this. Now, it could be grief. Someone's died in the family, or you've had some kind of major grief and you've got over it. People say we get over it. Time heals. Yeah, time heals. We get over it. But sometimes our body hasn't quite switched that grief switch off and we're vibrating. The same with shock. I've had a shock 20 years ago. I had an accident 10 years ago. I had a major surgery 5 years ago. It doesn't matter. Failure. I failed my exams, and that was 5 years ago. I failed my driving test, and I feel as I failed as a partner. I failed as a mother. So this failure, it can also be a never been well since. A lot of times when I do clients and when did these symptoms start? Sometimes with digestion issues, since I lost my job, I felt a failure since, and so on. And so this is part of root cause as well. And then what I was saying earlier, you have environmental toxicity. You could be sitting in an environment where there's a lot of toxicity around us. You move to a new area and a lot of your symptoms are coming. Now that could be whether it's a stressful environment with noise and pollution, or emotional toxicity. Environmental toxicity is not just physical. It can also be emotional toxicity. If you live in an environment where there's a lot of people shouting and screaming, or there's toxicity within the family environment, toxic relationships as we call them, they're all under environmental toxicity. So it's never been well since I've been living in that household. You move out, you go to a better space, you're more calm, you're more at peace. Half of your ailments have already gone down. So it's come back to you. Suppression. When you don't acknowledge how you're feeling. When you keep it in, you want to say something and you can't. A lot of the times when you're looking at thyroid or you're looking at the throat chakra, I want to speak but I don't, so I keep it in. We have a saying where you drink your anger. It might be okay at that moment in time, but you need to be able to release that. You need to be able to talk about it. Talk to a professional. You need to get it out of your system, because suppression will then lead to ailments. Now, whether that's emotional suppression, whether it's physical, you keep getting a problem, you keep putting a cream on your skin and it clears for a little while, then it comes back, then you put it more, then it clears, then it comes back, then you put. So you're pushing it in. You actually want it out the system. You don't want to push it in. You want to get it out and deal with it. You want to get that root out, whether it's an external, what you can see, or whether it's internal, or what you feel. And these are just some examples. I could go on and on with examples. But when you step outside the box and you start thinking, even with your children, even with your partners, you're thinking, I wonder, what's been happening? He keeps doing this, or he keeps getting sick. He keeps, getting these attacks. Anxiety, panic. When did panic start? You can get a remedy for calm your panic attack. But when did it start? And why? What made you? Sometimes you don't have the answers. So a lot of people will say to me, well, I don't know. It started about 2 years ago. And I said, what was happening? Well, I was doing that. No, a bit more. You have to dig deep. It's Sherlock Holmes. It's doing all that little detective work. A bit more. And then when you keep digging, then you find the root. There you go. That's because your body went in. I know, oh, wow. I never thought that would affect me like that. But it can, even on subconscious level. And with that, I was talking about the mind-body connection. Well, I always say this is very important. And this goes to our whole internal system. It's like your gut. A lot of people know about the gut and mind and the gut connection. And we say, here you got the gut. And look, I know this sounds crazy, but I feel like we have a real connection here. And the brain says, yeah. It's like they always say, trust your gut's feelings. God's put a gut instinct there for a reason. It's like when people have, again, I'm going to use common example, digestive issues, IBS disease. They're all known as stress-related ailments. Why? Because we're stressed here, and it's called indigestive issues. When you see something or hear something, you find it hard to take in. You find it hard, the vocabulary that we use. I found it hard to digest what he said to me. I found it hard to digest what I saw happening on the street. I found it hard to digest when I heard that this person went through this. It just sat with me for days. All these are that mind feeling hard to digest. Further down the line, you're all of a sudden getting digestive issues. And a lot of times, again, I find this very often when I really dig into digestive issues, you will always find something that's put that person into a shock state, or any kind of incident that happened which they found it hard to digest, and then it builds up. It's never on the time, because on the time you're just trying to get through it. Then it's that gradual build up, and then it comes back. Oh, I've got a bit of IBS. It's like diarrhea when you go to when you're nervous and you're going to go to, say, a job interview or driving test, or about to go into exam. And a lot of people can relate to this, where I'm really nervous. Oh my God, I need to use the toilet. Run back. How come you want to use the toilet when you're nervous? Because the mind-body connection, very important. And that's a common example. A lot of you can actually relate to that. And IBS people, that symptoms can also relate to that. 1 minute diarrhea, 1 minute constipation. You need to release, you need to hold on. What's happening? So we need to take a deep breath, step out and think, why? If I can get this working. So on this mind-body connection, you've got the body, you've got the ailments, you've got your headaches, you've got body aches, you've got your stress, your fatigue, you've got skin, all sorts of ailments we can go on. Then you're on the mind side, you're looking at, are you worried? Are you having nightmares? Is there negativity around you? Are you just making quick decisions and regretting them afterwards? Then you're looking at your emotions. Are you lacking in confidence? Are you feeling irritable? Are you feeling depressed? What is happening around you? Are you anxious? And that can also continue into your behavior. Like you're accident prone. You lose your appetite. Oh, I just don't feel hungry. You have low libido. You can't sleep. If you're a smoker, you start smoking more. If you're a drinker, you start drinking more. So can you see how that's all connected together within our system? I need to understand what is happening, rather than just looking at the pains and the ailments that the body's doing. Look at all the other areas that's created, which part of that mind and your emotions have created these behaviors and the bodily reactions that we get. So knowing that mind-body connection, how do we treat you homeopathically? We look at the totality of symptoms. So the entirety of symptoms experienced by a person, your mental, your physical, and your emotional, it represents the disturbance within us. So homeopathy treats the whole person, not just the disease or that the person is suffering. So it's not just, okay, I have migraines, just deal with my migraines. I have period problems, deal with that. Someone might say to me, well, I just want you to look at X area and forget the Y area. And I say, no, I can't, because here's your physical problems. I need to know what's happening mentally, emotionally. I need to match it up. And that your mental emotion is as important to me as your physical ailments, because it needs to come from here. It's the signals. Being a system analyst, coming back to who you are as a person, this is your motherboard. If you understand computers, this is your motherboard. This is where all the programming comes to into your body. So if you're trying to fix the program, but you're not going back to the key area of the programming system in the first place, it just keeps running in a loop. It won't be able to correct itself. So you need to go impart the brain. I mean, the brain is awesome. We're awesome creatures. SubhanAllah, we're awesome creatures in the sense where every part of the brain is linked to within ourselves. Is linked to do or not to do. Is linked to whether you're going to speed up the metabolism or slow the metabolism. Hormonal imbalances. Oh, my digestion is going down. Or I'm being really stressed and my adrenaline is going up and now I'm getting blood pressure issues. Or I'm feeling chronic fatigue because I'm constantly on the go. Adrenal fatigue's coming in. You need to go back up here. You can treat the physical, or I need to get good diet. I need to make sure I pick myself up. I need a Red Bull, someone might say, or I need this. Yeah, but until you go from here, you're going to keep on needing that. You want to break free from that. You want to move forward. Healthy from here is healthy all the way around. Healthy from here, you become emotionally more stable. You're mentally more focused. There's more clarity. And then physically, your body comes back into homeostasis, comes back into balance. Have you been to think about it? how do we do it with homeopathy? These are acute examples. Like you go, any homeopathic remedies, like I say, stimulates the body's own natural presence. How? Anything that is capable of producing the symptoms in a disease in a healthy person can cure those symptoms in a sick person. Common example, when you cut an onion, you're streaming eyes, oh my god, I'm crying, she's cutting an onion. Give onion, which is allium cepa in homeopathic medicine, can help stop the streaming eyes and runny nose. For example, like hay fever, common colds, and so on. You're looking at those, you're matching up the symptoms. Coffee, drink too much coffee, you're irritable, you can't sleep, you need to calm down. Give it back in potency. Coffee can help calm the body down and actually help promote sleep. These are just some of their remedies. Nettle, the stinging nettle, you go past it and bang, your stinging nettles, and it's itchy and it starts to swell up, and it's that feeling. Give urticaria back, and you get urticaria. But give nettle, which is urticaria, back in potency. Again, it will calm those symptoms down. Same when you get red hot, when you get a bee sting, you're red, hot, swollen, burning. Oh God, that's really bad. Give apis back in potency, and it helps clear those symptoms. It doesn't matter where it's come from. Now, I always encourage people to get homeopathic home kits. Now, in the UK, we have Ainsworth and Helios, top 2 homeopathic pharmacies, where you can get kits from. Ainsworth have the 42 essential remedy kit. It's the one on your left, and on the right is the Helios, the little white pills, and they have a little booklet with it. And most of my clients, I will say, my aim in life is to empower you with that knowledge. It's to empower my mothers and sisters and brothers and whoever it is with the knowledge of how you can help yourself. So little acute cough, cold things, which symptoms that just come on now and they've gone. Acute is something that's come on and it's going to clear within 5 days and it's not recurring. Those are the acutes that you can treat yourself from home and home by getting yourself a kit. And if people that don't know homeopathy, just suck this little pill like a little sweetie. Kids love it, and it gets back on track. And if it's something that's reoccurring, that root cause need to look into, you need to come back into understanding the root cause and booking yourself a proper consultation. Now, I'm going to go through some of the top remedies, a few of the top remedies. Some of you may have heard this before. We're going through it again. It's a refresher. Some of the top remedies you get in kits. The number one I've got here is arnica. Now, arnica flower is a flower that grows on the mountain tops. In long time, many years ago, when people used to climb the mountains, and they would fall or they all slip and they get bruises, and they used to pluck the arnica flower and rub it on the bruises. As you heard me say, bruises. It's fantastic for trauma and bruises. It will help prevent bruising. For example, you've just hurt yourself really bad. Take the arnica straight away. It will avoid the bruise coming quite bad. I remember many years ago, I had a client that called me. She was on the motorway and she had an accident, and car accident, and her son was out here. Her forehead was really swollen and big. She called me in emergency, and luckily she had her kit on her. It was, she carries a kit in her car as a first aid kit. I said, do you have a kit? Yes. I said, well, quickly, give him arnica every 15 minutes. But she did. By the time this young lad got to the hospital and A&E, it had gone down by half. So that's how quickly. Some people say, oh, homeopathy takes long. No, in an acute, in an emergency, it can work very quickly. And that was many years perfect. I can give many examples where given arnica early, you can avoid a lot of serious ailments later on, because the body's already started to do this, already started to deal with it, already started to bring it down. So you've got the blow, you've got the injuries, falls, bang, hit, or you've got something stuck, the kids fall down. All those kind of remedies, arnica you can go for. It's the number one you need in your first aid cupboard. Even for shock, there's another remedy I'm going to talk about for shock, but with arnica shock is the thing where they've got bang, got hurt, and then I'm okay. No, you're not. I'm okay. Yes, I am. And they won't feel the shock because they just think I'm okay, I'm all right. And this is an example where you're saying you need an arnica. Now, arnica is also very good for that bruised, beaten up feeling that we have, especially when you've been to the gym and the next day you're going, oh, I'm aching, I can't move. If you take the arnica straight after gym, you reduce some of those aching pains the next day. In the same way, like women, we're doing housework and we're running around and we feel really achy and paining. Take an arnica. It'll help those achy, moving around, rushing around, lifting things, doing things. It will help calm it down. I have many women that get addicted to paracetamol or painkillers, just not because they're on a pain now, it's because it just helps them to keep going. I'm thinking, but you don't need the painkiller. First of all, understand what it is that you keep going with. But if you take an arnica, which is, remember guys, with homeopathy, it's 100% safe. I cannot harm you no matter what. So your body just has to get back on track and get you together again. So in any cases where you have that beaten feeling, soreness, whether it's through housework, whether it's through lifting, moving home, whether it's been to the gym, it doesn't matter. Think of arnica. Also, when because you're tired, because you feel bruised, you're restless, you can't get comfortable, you're moving around, your bed's too hard, you're looking at arnica. Again, when you're pressured, touched, you feel it's worse for cold, arnica. Now, arnica can also be used in a cream. You can buy arnica cream, which can be used on bruises as well externally, but not on broken skin, just on the bruised area around or in pain. Me personally, I love it when it goes internal, because when internal, it goes through the whole system and it goes into where it needs to be dealt with. So arnica, girls, women, men. Areas that you can actually use arnica in: when you've been to the dentist, after dentist, to help reduce bleeding. Labor delivery is great for when the uterus and through. I'm also a doula, so I work with a lot of pregnant women during labor, and it's one of my combinations I put together where it really helps the body heal, so you're less in pain afterwards. Because you imagine what happens when you're going through labor, that whole contraction, your whole body, not just your uterus, but your whole body takes quite a bit of work to actually deliver a baby into this world, subhanAllah. Post-surgical bruising, shock, as we mentioned earlier, and the acute and chronic injuries. So even if you've had an acute injury, you've just fallen yesterday, or even if you've had an injury, again, what we said earlier, never been well since. I had a fall 10 years ago, but I'm fine, but your body hasn't quite got back on track, or my leg hasn't been the same since, or my arm has been aching on and off since, as soon as the cold hits it or anything, you can still do arnica. If you haven't had it on the time when you had the accident or the fall, you can still take a dose of arnica even if it's been some time after. There is no time limit. There's no harm either. If your body's going to be able to deal with it, it will deal with it, inshallah. So we can apply it internally. As I said, 30C is the frequency the potency that's in kits, readily available. What do you do when it's in an acute where you had a fall? You can give it frequently, every 30 to 60 minutes, half an hour to an hour. We have different strengths: 203, again 15 to 30 minutes, and to improvement is seen. As soon as the improvement is seen, you can stop giving the remedy and monitor progress. So it's not as if you have to take a course, you have to take for a week, you have to do this. No, when the symptoms stop, you stop. The 200C comes in the labor kits. I use it a lot during childbirth, but it's also for intense shocks, and it comes in emergency situations. But I always say, if you don't, doesn't matter the potency, if you don't have 200, whatever potency you have, 6C, 30C, give it. It would do something. Don't think, oh, I haven't got this strength, I'm going to do this. No, give it. I always have people asking me, I can't find a 30C, I've only got 6C, what should I do? Give it. I've only got 200, but I think I need 30, what should I do? Give it. It will do something beneficial to the body rather than do nothing. If ailments return, you can resume the remedy. And like I said earlier, a cream can be bought, which is also very good, can be used for bruise applications, especially with kids. Another beautiful flower, aconite. Aconite is one of your top, and these are some of the, I've only done a few here, top first aid remedies that you need in your first aid cover. So aconite is the opposite to arnica. So you've got your shock, but where arnica with a shock, I'm okay. With aconite, it's like, I'm going to die. There's a lot of anxiety around it, a lot of fear around it, fright. You're becoming anxious, you're distressed. You can tell the person's in shock, because of the pupils are dilated. They're very restless physically and mentally. They will think, oh my God, I'm going to die, because I've had this bang. And you've been taken, you're hit for 6, as people will say. And then you need to calm them down. When kids fall, they just won't stop crying because they think, oh my God, I'm going to die, it's going to hurt, it's going to... Give her one dose of aconite. Normally one dose of aconite just calms the symptom down. They're worse at night time. They're worse at midnight. They think, oh, I'm not going to survive another night. So, and also aconite is very good for that initial shock, physical shock, but also emotional shock. It's also very good with let me just go back. It's also very good with the first onset of coughs and colds. When they come on, it's a shock. The body's got a cold coming. Give aconite first before you do anything else. It can avoid it going to the next stage. We have aconite, we have belladonna, and chamomile. It's known as the homeopathy ABC. Now, ABC, aconite, belladonna, and chamomile are a great remedy for childhood ailments, whether it's fevers, whether it's shocks, whether it's inflammation. It helps calm the body down instantly. And even though I'm saying what I'm saying, guys, in any case of emergency, if you're not sure, please do contact your GP. Please do go to your A&E if you have to. That is number one. What I'm teaching you here is what you can empower yourself with. But if you're not sure, but you should know where to go. Straight to the hospital. Belladonna is another. It's known as deadly nightshade. It's a great remedy. It's not just a lot of you will know it as a fever remedy, but it also has other symptoms. Sunburn. When you're going on holiday, you know, sunburn with red hot burning pain, throbbing. The key thing with belladonna is that throbbing, throbbing feeling, whether it's a headache, whether it's a pain, whether it's when you have a fever, but it's a throbbing. You should keynote. With all remedies, homeopathic remedies, is what we call keynotes. The keynotes are, you know, arnica has a shock, says I'm all right. Aconite has a shock, say I'm gonna die. They're known as the keynotes. Belladonna pain is your throbbing pain. Your body is radiating heat. You're better lying down in a dark room. You're worse for noise, touching, jarring, light, and you're very sensitive. It's a great migraine remedy as well. So you have the, I'm about to say migraine, you have the throbbing and pulsating headache from overexposure to sun, or generally a throbbing headache. And sometimes with the people that you know they need, because they're craving lemonade. They're, I want something to drink, I want some lemonade, please. Normally it's lemonade that people are craving. You got your belladonna. I'm going to keep it short because I could go on more and more about symptoms. It's great inflammation remedy as well. Then you got the chamomile, the ABC, aconite, belladonna, and chamomile. Now chamomile is like, people know chamomile tea. What do we drink chamomile tea for? It's for calming down, isn't it? Chamomile flowers to help the system calm down. And it's also very good for the mental picture when they're a bit stressed. The complaints from coffee, as we mentioned coffee earlier, but it can also help the same symptom to help calm down. So it's calming. The key thing is calming. And it's teething. When the kids are teething, so that's why we put the ABC together. They get teething, they get fever, they're in pain, they're quite emotional, they're like, you know, just crying all the time, want to be picked up, they're ratty. You're looking at chamomile or you're looking at ABC. Chamomile complaints, similar to what we said about belladonna. You've got the diarrhea, earaches, belladonna, chamomile, they're great earache remedies. One's left, one's right. You've got insomnia again, calming down. It's a good one that I use during labor pains and teething. So the keynote with chamomile, with chamomile complaints, is the irritability, the restlessness, and that calming. You just need that instant calming down. I use it in stress mixes and calming mixes for people, just to help the whole system calm down. Take a deep breath and move forward. Nux vomica. Some of you may have heard of it, some of you, it's in the first aid kits. Nux, it's a great anger remedy, irritability. He's always telling you off. He's always finding something wrong. You know, it's hypersensitive. Their personality is very ratty and irritable. They complain from overindulgence, over drinking, overeating. Like sometimes when kids have ate too fast and they've overate, a nux vom. I mean, one of my kids is like, we call him the nux vom kid, because he likes something, you overeat it. He knows. I had this little keyring with little vials in them, and they're remedies. And this particular child, is going to need nux vom because he's going to overeat that rice that grandma make, or he's going to do something like that. You need a nux vom. One dose of nux vom helps calm the indulgence, gets the body digesting it properly, and gets you back on track. And one of the modalities of nux vom is they're feeling cold. Right? It's a great remedy. It's a great headache remedy. Headache around the forehead. If you're feeling a bit dry and you've got headache around the forehead, you've got nux vom, and you're feeling irritable with it. You're always telling your kids off, or your husband's always telling you off, or your boss is always angry and irritable at you. So all the different things that we can look at. It's also a great constipation remedy. It's the nuts. It's holding things on. As I mentioned, it's a great hangover for those who drink. It's the next day your overindulgence. You're taking nuts from indigestion. Again, you've overeaten. You can't sleep because your mind is going da 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 da, and you're feeling really the anger, irritability is what you're looking at more in nux from than, for example, chamomile, where you just want to calm the system down. Chamomile is just restless and irritable. But nux from, you're looking a bit more anger and irritability there. And the common cold, when you've got a common cold coming along, sneezing, the things, and what you're looking at with the runny nose and the common cold is the moods. Just say to you, you've got a common cold and someone's quite teary, be adult or child, they're quite teary and I've got a cold. You know, you look at maybe a common cold post-Attila remedy. I've got a common cold. I'm angry. Oh, I need to get this cold over. You know, you're looking at nux from. So can you see how even for the common cold, it's not just one remedy. So if someone says, okay, send me a text, what can I take from the kit for common cold? I'll be able to say, right, what are the emotional symptoms? What else is going on? And then you select accordingly. Constipation is a great one because you're hanging on. The body's congested now, and it's just holding everything in. Which a lot of people know when they're constipated, they feel not right. They feel really restless. They feel I need to go toilet and I can't go. So it's hanging everything in there without being too well. I was talking about post-Attila. Post-Attila, I love post-Attila. Post-Attila children, post-Attila adults. Post-Attila is a flower that's quite like with the wind. It goes with the wind. They're quite taken in. They're quite sensitive. There's a lot of post-Attila children around. They're quite weepy. They're shy. Post-Attila kids or adults are quite shy. Everything that I'm saying can be linked to children or adults. But because we talk about children in our, when people wanting help or people joining this group, it can also be the same symptoms can be done for adults. Babies, children, teenagers, adults, elderly. All work the same. So they're quite weepy, they're shy, and the key note with post-Attila is that symptoms alternate. 1 minute she's like this, and the next minute she's like this. It just changes character. It's changeable symptoms. So 1 minute she's in pain and she's fine. The next minute she's actually screaming and shouting. She's crying her head off. 1 minute, so the body is actually changing its symptoms constantly. Post-Attilas are also quite thirstless. Where with belladonna, they're like, I'm really thirsty, I want some lemonade. Or with other remedies, I want a sip of water constantly. With post-Attila, I'm not thirsty. Whether that's in an acute situation or in a chronic situation, normally we would ask when you take a case is, are you a thirstless or thirsty person? When we say that, it links us to a group of remedies where people are thirstless or a group of remedies where people are thirsty. Post-Attilas are also very good in the fresh air. They're moaning and groaning and crying and weeping and got colds and they're sitting inside and they just want attention. The minute they go out in the fresh air to play, cold or warm weather, it doesn't matter. They're better. Even their symptoms are better in the fresh air. They're not as runny nose. They're not as I've got a cold outside as they are inside. So that's another key when you're looking at better for fresh air. They're quite emotional. They're quite, I need you to come and sit next to me. I'm adults, or sometimes with the man flus they have these weepy sensations of come and sit next to me. Children are clingy and they want to be carried, irritable and whining when sick. And that's a key thing you're looking at. You're carrying them around, but they really just want to hug onto you. They're just huggers and just don't want you to let go. You've got your post-Attila. Post-Attila is a great hormonal remedy. And today I'm not talking about hormones, but I would do some more. Just subscribe, and we will do some more things about different, more specific, with the same remedies but more specific. The kind of post-Attila complaints that we can look at is bedwetting. Those children that do continuously bedwetting. It's not the remedy, but one of the top remedies. When you're breastfeeding, again, ailments from breastfeeding, whether it's for the baby or for yourself, and how you're feeling. Chickenpox, common cold, cystitis, diarrhea. Again, a fever remedy, you're looking at emotions. Food poisoning, headache, insomnia, labor pains, and eye inflammation. Now, with these titles that I put there, is post-Attila helps these complaints, but how you link it to post-Attila is what's happening up here, how are they feeling, and that's we're very able to link that. And always, it's not just the label, it's how you're feeling with it. Now, people, I want you to click the subscription button for more updates. You can email me at smina@healthrejuvenate.co.uk, and there's my website. What the key thing is, what I want to teach people today is always take a deep breath. Take a deep breath with me. And exhale really slowly. Use your finger as your trigger. You exhale really, really slowly. As you exhale, your body calms. When we don't breathe, we go we're just stressed. But if you stop and take a deep breath and exhale really, really slowly, you allow the oxygen to go into your body, and you allow your body to start healing. So I teach breath work, and another video we do, I'll teach you how to breathe properly in different movements, just to help your body calm. There are so many tools that Subhanallah, so many tools that we have that we can use to help ourselves. Now, I hope that was useful. But before we leave today, I always say cultivate your heart energy. When you're anxious, we always need to think about gratitude. When you're anxious, I want you to stop, take a deep breath, exhale slowly 3 times. Then close your eyes, put your hand on your heart, and just think of one thing that you can be grateful for. The reason I say this, because I know for a fact that this will help calm down. Because this, scientifically speaking, has been proven to help DHEA levels rise. Proven, done daily over a month. And what is DHEA levels? You may ask another time, another lecture. But it's about the DHEA levels are actually really super good hormone in your body, which helps your body with healing, with immunity, with calming, and a whole. There's so much. But the quickest way our bodies can produce this is one when we smile, and one when we actually calm down. So be grateful, be happy, and always remember to keep smiling. Because when you smile, you naturally produce your DHEA. When you falsely smile, you're not doing it. When you have that warmth feeling inside, your body is already reacting. It's already doing what it needs to do and to create what it needs to create. And that's very important. I hope you enjoyed today. And please don't forget to subscribe. Email me if you need an appointment or you have any issues. I will be doing more of these as we go on more specific areas, whether it's anxiety or stress or hormones or brain health. There's so much we can talk about. Bringing in nutrition, I'll be bringing in breath work, and today I brought in homeopathy, but for the future I will bring in all different things to help you guys feel motivated, feel inspired, and feel, yes, you can do this, and we can do it together. I'll hold your hand, teach you to walk, and then I'll let go, and you're vibrating in that energy forever, inshallah. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye bye. Assalamu alaikum.